All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of On Cycle. As most of you know, 2025 season just started. So, of course, we got to talk about the one thing we all want to talk about. Who looks pretty and who doesn't?
Exactly. It's all about those first impressions, and the first impressions of almost everyone's actual production for this year, besides the show announcements that we already talked about, is what are they wearing? Who are they wearing?
Who are they wearing? What designer is putting together all these things? Right?
Yeah.
We just don't know, but we want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. If you are a Drum Corps fan, obviously you're watching the podcast, you know that you've probably seen all the uniforms. So what Robbie and I are going to do, rather than show you the uniforms, we're going to show them to you, but we're going to rate them from 1 to 10, kind of how we feel about them. Just on a lot of different levels.
On a sort of rubric of what I think is a nice sort of objective, holistic view. The ultimate way to rank a uniform.
Yeah, I agree.
Which, of course, is based on 4 criteria that we're going to cover, which is functionality, the design, just visually, recognizability, because we are old farts and we want to recognize who's on the field.
Tell me who it is.
And finally, the 4th and most important category, badassery.
100%, yeah. How badass does your uniform look this year? Because some of them look pretty great.
Yeah.
So we needed to add that in there. And so when we talk about functionality, we're talking about how well the uniform moves, what their members are being asked to do, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Design is more color fit, I think.
Yep. Yeah, like form and color, really just the looks, right?
Yeah. And I also
aesthetics.
Aesthetics, but I also think mixed with what the show theme is, and does it fit with what's going on?
I think that works. Yeah, that works too, right? Yeah. Does it complement what the show theme is trying to communicate?
Exactly. And then, recognizability is easy. That's, do you look like the core that we all know and love?
Yeah.
And
I think that can count both as like a broader historical sense, like are you wearing the same colors? But also like some cores have established a brand in the past few years.
Yeah,
I think if they fit that brand, that still counts as recognizability.
I agree. Yeah. And then badassery, it's just personal opinion on how cool we think you look.
Yeah. I mean, that one's self-explanatory.
It's self-explanatory. So
pick up an Oxford dictionary, it'll be in there.
All right. In no particular order, which is actually a particular order, we're going to go.
I'll say a semi-particular order, because we're not going to worry too much about placement. But we're going generally bottom to top in the top 15.
Yeah,
roughly,
and
right?
pretty much based off of last year's. That's
all of last year's placement.
Of last year's placement, we're just going to go bottom up. It's an easy way for us to put everything together.
Yeah.
So it's going to work that way. Before we get started on that, if you haven't already, make sure you click like, subscribe, all those good things. And I'll say this: this is the first video that we have put out that we have been officially monetized by YouTube.
Yep. We passed 1,000 subscribers a little while ago, and we're finally raking in the dough.
Yeah, raking in the dough, which you'll see. I'll post down here how much money we've made as of today. It's a lot. And remember, 50% of everything that we earned is going back into the scholarship fund for next season that we're putting together, the On Cycle Scholarship Fund. If you want to be a part of the scholarship fund and how it all puts together, go check out our Patreon.
Yep. If you want to contribute in ways other than just the usual views and clicking and sharing with your friends that we always ask.
Yep. You can watch, and every minute, an hour, and whatever else you put into us on YouTube for free, and that generates funds for the scholarship. Or you could go donate a little bit of money and be part of the process of voting for who gets the scholarship next year. So that's a fun little way of doing that as well too.
Yeah.
So,
and an added benefit, if you need more encouragement to do the Patreon, if you do the Patreon, you also get a little bit of sway in what we do.
That's correct.
We're going to record some episodes soon that'll be sort of as a thank you to those early Patreon members. Yep. So if you want to get in on that and boss us around a little bit, we can be bought. We do accept gifts and services. In order to sort of dictate our art. Yeah. We are willing to sell out.
That's right. We are totally capable of selling out. Please let us sell out. Give us things. And really not us. It's more about giving back to the community. And
yes.
All right. Anyway.
Yes.
That all being said, that's enough silly shtick.
Yeah.
So
enough
who
selling.
are we starting with? Oh, go ahead.
Pat Crest. Right?
That's exactly what I was thinking. The exact same thing. Right. So
let's start off on a high note.
Yeah, because
if we're being real.
Because if you guys watched the episode where we talked about our order for this year, our wild predictions episode, I put Pat Crest at 12. I think they're going to make finals this year.
Yeah, and they've been gunning for it.
Yeah, they were 13 last year, right?
I think they were 15th.
Were they 15th?
I think they were.
I thought Blue Knights was 15th. I don't know. We have no idea. We talk only about Drum Corps 24/7. We have no idea what happened last year.
I don't have everything memorized, but they've been hovering right at that like top of semifinals cutoff range for a while now, and they put out a few really good shows that I think has grabbed people's attention. So they're hungry for it, right? Yeah. And it's like Colts a few years ago.
Yeah. And from some people, I think some people that commented on the show here who have been watching PC this year, they say really good things about it. And their uniform, I think it's pretty awesome.
Dynamite.
Yeah. It's great.
Starting off on a high note. I mean, I saw it and I was like, what like top 6 core did I miss the uniform announcements for? I thought, it's such high quality.
Yeah.
But so do we, so and speaking of our poor memories, do we remember what the Pack Crest, what the show theme is this year?
I have no idea. I think it's King Arthur. I don't know.
Could you do a King Arthur show 2 years after Crown did it?
I don't know. But whatever. Hey, PC, if you're following us and you know what PC show is, I'm sure I'll look it up.
It's definitely a kind of like old fashioned, like classical, kind of. Medieval classical kind of look to it. Very evocative.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, it's a really. Honestly, just a really solid all-around uniform. The picture we have here doesn't have hats. I think they're not wearing headwear this year.
No, they're probably not wearing hats.
Which I guess is fine.
Yeah, that's okay. There's some other corps wearing hats. We can't wait to talk about those. So, I think... So, let's just go right into it. Functionality.
Yeah.
I have
pretty functional.
I have some concerns. Anytime I have something hanging off the front of me...
That's definitely...
That, like...
they got chains... Biggest functionality things, it looks like it's fairly well fitting.
Yeah.
Biggest functionality things that might be concerns are the chains hanging around the front. They got fairly baggy sleeves, although I don't think they're short enough. I think they'd be fine.
I wasn't worried about that. You know what it is about? I think that worries me.
They've got the big gauntlets. The
giant, thick gauntlets.
Like the goofy gauntlets.
Yeah.
They're pretty big. They don't look... I think they serve their purpose in how they look. They just look thick.
Yes. So, for functionality, So, okay, ready? Because we'll get right into it. 1 to 10 functionality.
Yeah. We're going to rate each of these on a scale of 1 to 10.
What do you think?
I feel like the functionality concerns that I would have look pretty minimal. I feel like not being able to know exactly what material it's made out of. I don't know how like breathable it is.
It does.
I feel like I'd put it pretty high still.
Yeah.
Like 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I was gonna go 6, 7, somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
6.5.
Yeah, 6.5. Okay. We're getting decimals already.
Design, color, fit. I think it's great. I love the color. I love the fit.
Oh, the color, like the red and gold look.
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
Super cool. Yeah, it's going to show very well on the field, I think. And if we actually knew what we were talking about, understood what their show was, we could probably
it would pop
better on that too. So I give it 8. I think 8 for
I'm putting it as a 9. I think the color scheme's really solid.
Okay, I'm looking at some of the other uniforms already. I just didn't want to go too high right off the bat, but
I want to give credit where credit is due. I think they got some of the coolest looking.
I do too.
It's some of the coolest looking uniforms while also being distinct from everyone else.
Yes,
I think
I agree with that too. Recognizability.
This one. Don't feel bad, Pack Crest, but I feel like this has got to be low. I have no. Yeah, I literally you sent this photo and I went, "Who is this?" Yeah. I have. Yeah. Absolutely no idea.
Which I think some of the cores are going to just be low naturally because of some of those changes every single year. So.
And I think the recognizability thing is a factor, but it's not like
it's not that important.
It's not the most important one.
Not anymore, right?
Yeah. So. I think if a uniform's got 10s in all the other categories but low recognizability, it's like that was kind of almost Bluecoats last year.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yep.
But like I would still rate that as a pretty high ranking uniform, right? Probably
2.
Yeah, probably 2.
I'm gonna 2. Badassery, I go 9.
I go 9 too.
It's pretty badass. I love it. It's a pretty cool uniform.
Yeah, they look great.
So good job, Pack Crest.
Yeah, great job.
I'm really looking forward to seeing them. Really, I'm just looking forward to seeing if I'm right this year. Yeah. And they've got 12.
They've got a doublet. It's great.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, they're pretty solid uniform.
Okay. So now next one, just outside the top 12, we got Knights and Crossmen. What do you think?
Which one do you do first?
Let's do a wild swing and do Knights.
Oh, listen.
Okay.
Knights, guys,
what are you doing?
This is a wild. So okay. So let's look at functionality.
Well, first off, I also want to put a disclaimer. This is should be more obvious than ever, but it's a thing we say a lot, and I want to restate it. This is absolutely no reflection on the members.
100% no. Absolutely not.
The least amount of reflection possible on the members. They obviously don't decide.
They showed up. They want to march a great drum corps.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is what.
And the uniforms were great last year, so they're thinking to themselves, surely they will be good again this year, right?
Last year's uniforms were so awesome.
Last year's were some of the best.
Yeah, they were.
I'm thinking, did they spend 150% of their uniform budget from last year?
Guys, we're working on nickels and dimes.
We can afford one sheet with a PNG on it.
Yep, it is. It's a rough uniform.
It's truly. I say this is a loving alumnus. It's truly abysmal.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Truly, just a horror all around.
So staying in the category of ranking functionality, it looks functional.
It looks comfortable.
It looks comfortable.
It
looks
doesn't have
functional.
enough components to be super unfunctional. Right.
I think so too. I will say this: every single person in every clip I've seen from the show with them, all of the pants, seamstress ladies out there working for you guys.
Yeah.
Kids, we need to hem these things.
Hem them up.
They are
so baggy,
hanging baggy everywhere, and for functionality, that would drive me insane.
Yeah,
right.
Like even if it's not actively tripping you, it just bothers you.
It's like anything else, like wearing bell bottoms back in the day. You're just creating sway. It's making the feet look bad, right? And just in general phasing and everything else. So like that one's rough on me.
Yeah,
and
the functionality. The shirt, guard uniforms.
I like the guard uniforms.
Better.
I like the guard uniforms because
guard uniforms are better overall.
Well, they're supposed to be water. They look like water. Right.
They look like water.
Sense. Right.
They've similar kind of overall design of just a similar, like a flat piece of clothing with an image on it, but I just think it's much more tastefully done.
Yeah. Well, it's more of it. Here's the thing, like, and I'll say this about other uniforms today too. Anytime you have a two-piece uniform, there has to be something that divides the piece. This is literally just a long
shirt. It's a jumpsuit
with an elastic waistband on it, and it just doesn't. It looks trashy. It looks bad.
Yeah. So let's functionality. Probably the highest score it's going to get. I don't know, maybe 6.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Probably 6.
They look comfortable. They're simple enough that they're probably not going to get in the way. But
they also kind of look hot. They look like a velvet or like a velour or something like that. They look like.
I'm hoping. Yeah, hopefully it's lightweight.
So there's that design and color fit. Oh, Jesus, design one. As low as it could possibly be. Like, here's the thing. I was really skeptical when I heard the show. Right, I liked the graphic they put out, and then when I saw it the other night for the first time, I was like,
we watched
this show is not that bad.
This show's good.
Yeah,
and they're moving and playing well.
Absolutely.
Like, especially I always talk about last time they made finals was in 23, right?
Okay.
And that was a rough show.
Yeah. Well, I think
that was a rough show.
23 was just a rough year all around.
Yeah, so, I think it was still in those 2 years where everyone was still figuring out how to do drum corps again.
Yeah.
But like I think about what I saw at finals in 23 for Blue Knights versus what I saw at basically their first show, their first competitive show. League's better. The talent is there, and the show design is cool. Yeah, I think it's a cool show design. The props are great.
Yep, everything's really, really neat in the show. And then you gave them this.
I think it's the same exact situation as Blue Stars last year.
Yep, yeah.
It's a pretty decent show design with a lot of talented kids and a lot of staff that's putting in hard work.
Yep.
Completely dragged down and marred by the most baffling visual design decision ever. I don't mean to sound overly critical, but I am going to criticize. I have no earthly idea how this got past anyone.
Yeah.
I could see one person thinking of this dumb, terrible idea. But the fact that it got through any amount of checks and balances that it should have gone through, how did this possibly get a green light?
Yeah. Like even it was like, we're going to put a pipe across the center of the chest. Like, okay, guys.
Okay. Maybe,
Are we
let's see.
Middle school band? Like, come on, guys.
And like, it's like clip art.
It really is bad.
It's
very
if they
bad.
had just done like.
I like the color.
I don't like the color.
Here's the thing. I like the color palette of the whole show. Like when I watched the show and a color palette in with it, I was like, okay, the blue on the orange doesn't bother me.
I think it needs to be one tweaked in one direction or another. Look kind of like a turd. I think it does not. I do not think the orange is flattering.
Yeah, it's not good. So design color just one.
Just one. It's
recognizability.
Like one?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't
look like Blue Knights at all.
I haven't seen any.
Badassery.
No sequins.
Badassery. Besides, you're looking at the picture on the screen too. Besides the guys that look like they're pretty hard in the face, I'll give the people who modeled. I'll give them a 2 for being badass.
I'll give the people who modeled a good rating on badassery because they're really trying to sell it.
Yeah, they're really trying to sell
sure.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Again, right? Like all the performers are in great shape.
Yeah,
and they're really putting out a good product. But in terms of pure, like just the cloth,
it's
so what?
It's terrible.
I couldn't. It would be
so bad.
It would be an uphill battle every single time I put on the uniform to make myself feel like a badass if I was marching there.
Yeah, I agree.
And I say that as a guy who marched in skin tight sequins for an entire summer.
Yeah, it's rough. All right.
Yeah.
I don't want to badger them too
much.
much.
I know. All right.
Let's move on to the
good
better
show this year. Get your stuff together.
Yeah. Let's move on to what
the
I think is a much better improvement from last year.
Really what I think is probably going to be one of our first like high scores across the board, probably in all of our categories.
Crossmen.
Crossmen.
Oh, guys,
Great uniform.
thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, especially
last year's
after the
uniform was,
Nickelodeon uniform
last year was
year.
rough. I think they looked at it and said we need to go back to a little bit more to roots and go. Who are we known for? What are we good at? You know, what are those things too? And you know, one of the people we've had on the show before, Grace, if you look at our Women in Drum Corps episode way back in the day.
Yeah, like
she's
fourth episode or something.
She's the leftmost person in the top right there. She's the assistant horn sergeant this year.
Yes.
And killing it. And,
Killing it. So many badass action shots of her this year already. And
functionality, love a uniform without sleeves.
I mean, it's like the classic. It feels like the go-to modern uniform design, right?
Agree. Yeah.
The sleeveless top with gauntlets on the forearms,
or like
basically,
the
right?
skin tight sleeve on the arm. So
Exactly.
it kind of looks like a sleeve.
Sleeves more than gauntlets. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. I love the look, and I love the fact that it's on a single color sleeve. It's black
dividers.
with a little bit of white on it, so it helps like connect. And then the shoulder has white in it too before it goes into the black.
Yeah.
I think the design is lights out. Right, it's so good. Or at least functionality. It looks comfortable. It looks easy to move. It's cut well on every person I've seen
it looks
wearing
like it's cut well.
Yeah, good functionality. I'm going to give it. It's my first 10.
Yeah,
I think so. I think it's great.
I think. It's good. Skipped off.
Yeah, and
I think it's got to be.
Yeah,
it's probably. I'll give it a 9.
Okay.
I think it's definitely up there. It looks really comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone who's wearing
with
it.
the guard too. The guard everything looks breathable. Like they have the top, and then everything's that mesh. That's it's a common theme this year. Is that meshy kind of.
Yeah, we've got that in our show.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's cool. It looks cool.
It
I
breathes.
dig it.
I'm sure the guard is super happy about that. Right.
Yeah.
So
all those Texas shows.
it's great.
I don't even know if they have a Texas store, but anytime you get into the South.
Yeah, it's just hot. Right.
It's very appreciative. Even when it's nighttime, it's still like 80 something degrees.
Yeah. Design
functionality.
Listen, I love the black and white because it's so Crossmen.
Yeah.
Right. And there shows crosswalks. Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you look at the chest and the big X, it looks like a crosswalk.
Yeah. It feels exactly like that sort of. This might be biased because it's when I got into drum corps, but it feels like that nice sort of golden age of like the early to mid teens uniforms where they'd have the same kind of uniform each year, but they tweak it slightly to fit the show.
Yep.
It's a nice, like, somewhat subtle nod to what the show theme is while still communicating it really clearly.
Which I think brings to the next thing to recognizability. The hat, the Aussie, with the uniform, the big X on the chest.
Oh my God,
you cannot, if anybody walked by a new drum corps and looked at that, they'd be like, that
instantaneously Crossmen.
Crossmen, yeah.
I didn't get it.
10 out of 10.
What was your design score?
For my design score? Oh, good call.
Yeah.
I think it's a 10. It's a 10 for me.
I think it's a 10 too.
Yeah,
I'm going to give it a 10.
Perfect.
I'm also going to give it in recognizability. I think it's a really
100%.
It's exactly what I would want from a modern uniform that still harkens back to their identity.
And a show theme concept. The whole thing just makes sense, which badassery then I go 10 on badassery because of the hat. Because anytime I could put my hat on and lower my eyes and nobody could see me and I could just look hard like the old school drum corps style, you're just like, bah!
Everyone spends so much effort these days getting like facial expressions and everything because of how readable the faces have got to be now. Guess what? When you put a big old Aussie on, you don't have to worry about any of that.
None of that stuff, right? It's great. I'm very, very. I don't even know what their show is. Like, I know it's Crosswalk, right? But I don't know any of the music or anything else. But I'm already looking forward to seeing this show just because the uniform is that great.
And the thing you always got to remember, right, is, people hear with their eyes, they feel with their first impressions.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? If you come up with an ugly uniform, you have to spend the entire it's like Stars last year.
Yeah.
You come up with an ugly uniform, you have to spend the entire show convincing your audience that it is worthwhile to watch.
Yeah.
Versus you come in with this and you're starting off with good faith.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That you can then burn or build on.
Yeah.
With your show design.
Totally.
I'll give another 10 for badassery.
It's a straight 10 for me.
Yeah.
Everything about it is great. And
there's
some other uniforms.
It's awesome. It's awesome to see that from a corps that is, outside of the top 12
absolutely.
As of last year,
Yep.
right? It's making all the right choices.
They're such a storied corps. They have a really great vibe around them, and I feel like every time they try to pull away from that to try to be more modern or try to change, they just fall. They just crumble, right?
They got to pick the troopers route.
And then as soon as they come back to being the Crossmen, all of a sudden they get better. But guys, if from people, my friends at Crossmen, hear me when I say this: be the Crossmen.
Yeah.
Be the
You can-
Crossman. You can be that badass all the time.
You can be familiar and still innovate.
Yes, it's
Right?
great. It's great. This is what last year's uniform for their anniversary should have been.
Yeah, right.
It really should have been. People would
Yeah.
have been throwing babies in droves at these guys. Yeah, it would have been great.
All right. So next
moving
one
on.
now. We're entering the top 12 now, right?
Okay,
so Madison does not have a uniform reveal that we could find
Yeah,
anywhere.
if you guys can see them, like, hope this episode might be out like maybe before July 1st, right around that time frame.
Yeah, but it's June 30th, right?
Is that what it is right now?
June 30th.
June 30th. So
Time is an illusion in the summer. I'm a
Right.
teacher.
yeah. But next day or two, this should be out July 1st. If you could find it, throw it in the comments or throw a link maybe
Yeah.
so that people can find it. I'm very curious. I liked Madison's uniforms last year.
Oh, they were great.
So
Yeah,
I'm
awesome.
excited to see what they do. So
Yeah.
moving
So how
on.
about Cavies? They were 11th, right?
Were they
think.
11th last? I thought they were 10th last year. Was it? No.
I think they were 11th. I think Troop and Colts passed them.
Oh, yeah, you're
Either
right.
way,
All right, let's just do Cavies.
Again,
All right.
we're not too concerned
All right,
about.
then. Yeah.
All right, Cavies. Overall, I think pretty decent.
It looks very functional.
Yep.
Right. It looks
Yeah.
very functional. Everything looks like it's fitted well. It looks. The longest sleeve coming up. I'll tell you one of the things functionally that I love when people do this is the sleeve goes down into that longer. The upper sleeve comes down into the longer like gauntlet-y kind of sleeve. I love that because I hate when my sleeves come undone from a short gauntlet or something like that. So it gives it a way for like while I'm moving and doing all my arm stuff that my uniform doesn't shift too much. So functionality, I love that. It
Looks pretty comfortable, pretty lightweight, pretty functional.
Yeah.
Right? I would probably give this like a.
I give it a solid 8.
Yeah, I was about to say solid 8 out of
Yeah.
10 for functionality. Looks
Yeah,
pretty
it
good.
Looks good. Design and color fit.
Pretty high as well, I would think.
Fit is good. I like the way it's fitting them right now. I like
Yeah.
the little. I appreciate
like
the
the-
open sleeve.
Yeah.
The shoulder to kind of box out the shoulders a little bit more. Just the same thing Crossman does.
Yeah.
Right. It's just a little bit of flair to kind of make the performer look a little wider.
Yeah, there's a
right?
reation that all classic uniforms had basically shoulder pads.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
them, right?
Just to kind of widen them
not
up to
wearing
give
hockey
that
pads.
more of that V effect. On
Yeah.
the member, so that you just kind of look better that way. So
Yeah.
good job.
So
on
I would
there.
say, yeah, I really like the colors. Like, it's Cavilers green,
Yeah,
which we'll
it's
talk about in the recognizability, but I
right.
think it's a cool, sort of like jade, kind of like
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit of depth to it. It's a little darker green.
Yeah.
I think it's a solid color.
Yeah.
I think the little pieces that we talked about in the sleeves are pretty good.
Yeah.
I would have liked a little more. What's the term? Because like there's texture and there's color and there's like depth almost to the
Okay.
uniform.
Oh, yeah.
Layers, right?
Yeah,
And they have layers and
it
there's
does
something
look very flat.
three-dimensional.
It does look very
It looks a
flat.
little flat.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not the flattest uniform I've seen. I mean,
No.
we've seen
Knights.
Blue Knights. Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's not screen printed. Absolutely. There's different fabrics that are at interplay right now.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
could maybe use a little more, right? It's
Yeah.
a minor critique.
Yeah. But that's what we're here for.
And
minor
also,
critiques.
though, yeah, right. Also, though, it's not shown in the picture reference that we have here, but they've got the one like leg warmer.
Oh,
I don't know if I love or hate it.
I haven't seen it, so I can't comment.
It
on
literally imagine like the same kind of green that their uniform is made of, but
Yeah.
a little leg warmer around one ankle.
Oh, okay.
It's a little
Interesting.
weird.
That's just interesting. Okay.
Hey, while we're here, I know we're not talking about the show yet, but Coyotes went back to bent leg this year. Could not be happier.
Yeah.
Love it. Love to see it.
Yeah. It's definitely a cool pullback.
So,
Design and color fit, I give 7. 6,
I was
7.
gonna say 7 as well.
Yeah, 7,
I think
okay.
it's pretty good.
Yep.
Right. Overall, solid.
Yeah. Recognizability, 9.
8. Yeah, I would say an 8.
8, 9. Yeah, it's Cavilers green.
Cavies green,
and
yep.
it's got the white and the black, which is all Cavalier colors.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's pretty solidly. You look at them, you can say, yeah, it's
probably
Cavaliers, and it looks.
Yeah. You can look at them and go, that's probably Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Unlike the Crossmen, where you're like, that's definitely the Crossmen.
Yes.
Right? So the only thing that would have helped them is maybe putting the Aussie on.
Exactly.
Then,
Yeah.
Okay, that's definitely them. But yeah, no, uniform was great. Badassery, 8.
8. Yeah, I think an 8.
Yeah, I think it's gonna look good.
Pretty solid look.
I haven't seen the show yet, so I'm very curious to see how it looks in
I've seen
context.
like 30 seconds of the show.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it looks good. That's good. Cool.
They're probably not going to drop out of finals. I doubt.
I don't think so either. I didn't think that
I think
after some of the changes that we saw happen in the offseason, I think we're good now.
But yeah, I think this uniform is a sign of the fruits of good things changing.
Ooh, okay, so do you want to move into Colts?
We're really just swinging back and forth here.
Okay.
All right, Colts.
Listen,
You tried.
I have so many comments about this one.
This one's maybe the most interesting.
Yeah, look.
It certainly is the most.
Yeah, it certainly is. Now the picture that I have up there probably isn't the greatest picture.
Yeah, we couldn't find. We don't even.
I don't think that I couldn't find like a formal put out.
Do you think
that
maybe
they
knew?
Yeah, they were probably like, guys, we shouldn't show any of this.
We shouldn't put out a formal.
So here's what I will say. Okay, so let's go through it because I have something to say about each one of these pieces.
Yes.
Right, a good and a bad. Functionality. It looks functional.
Okay? It looks fine.
It looks fine.
Very similar to Blue Knights. It looks like it.
Right.
Maybe a little loose in places, but the pants are better fitted.
So from a positive standpoint, functionality, it's good. I think it works. But from a negative, it's the same thing. Anytime you have a two-piece top and bottom, you need something to wrap around the center because
otherwise you get a disconnect.
Yes,
as they're moving.
Exactly, and that's exactly what happens in the show a few times. Like you could definitely see when they're sliding that there's a disconnect between the upper and the lower body. So it needs to either be a singlet or one piece, or there needs to be something in the center to kind of close that off.
Sort of a cummerbund of such or something like that.
I'm going to hold off on my more positive thing for the design and the functionality portion of it, or the design and the color fit. But I give it a 5 for functionality.
I was going to say 6. I think it looks like it's probably pretty functional, probably pretty comfortable for the members.
The two pieces, it's just like the Blue Stars uniform.
They've got sort of like gauntlets on, or some kind of like wraps around the wrist. I think that's probably really nice for the performers.
Yeah,
it adds a little extra layer.
It's just stability. It's just stability for the uniform. I think it really helps.
All right. Design.
Guard. Hold on.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about guard for a second.
Holy God. The Pepto-Bismol, that's the color we decided on, guys?
Pepto-Bismol and baby blue.
Yeah, the blue's not bad. I don't mind the blue.
The blue's not
okay.
bad.
Yeah, the blue's okay. The pink with the weird eye on it, like this looks like there was a cartoon from the 90s. Was it? I can't remember.
Is it
Ah
Real Monsters?
That's it. That's exactly what it is. It looks
exactly
like
what I thought.
It looks like the Real Monsters eyeball.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I was like, what? Like I get it. I understand their show theme, and it goes with the show theme. So for design, I get it because the blue one has a closed eye.
Here's our first one. I think is going to be a pretty hot take of the season.
Okay.
I kind of like the guard uniforms.
Really?
I don't think they look good, but I think they work.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like I think the fact that they're kind of ugly fits the little bit of like dark weirdness that they're going for with the show. With the guard uniforms.
I get that. That makes sense.
It's kind of like how, like in Blue Knights 15, they had the weird like skin muscle exposed like fascia uniforms, and they didn't look very good, but they worked with the show and like the weird sort of ethereal feeling. So I kind of dig it. I don't think it's the best guard uniform out there, but I kind of respect that they swung for the fences.
One of two things I hope is happening in the guard. They are either one of two things is happening. I hope one of them is happening. They're either going, I can't believe I paid $6,000 to wear this uniform, or they went, guys, we're going to be the talk of the town, so we're just going to embrace this insanity, and we're just going to own it, right? Which I hope is what they're doing.
I hope, honestly, the whole core does that.
I hope they do. Because here's the thing. So as I move into design and comfort or design, color, fit, I actually like the design when I watch the show. When I watched the show, I was like,
are you talking full core uniform now or horn line?
Full core. Not the
I
not
do
the guard.
think I
but
do
the guard
think it
works into that
actually
too.
Design is like Colts has the most mixed design. Yeah. Because I think on their own they're pretty ugly.
Yes.
They're
100%.
loud. It's very flat.
Yeah.
In terms of like the depth of the uniform that I talked about, like the 3-dimensional sort of tactility of it. And yet the colors shows. The colors and the design pops on the field.
It does
with the show design.
And I said this about Colts last year, which I'll move into recognizability with this, is that they're using the design of the uniform very well with the drill. You can tell that they are turning their bodies and showing green and then showing red, and they're using those very distinct color changes in a drill setting that is very dynamic. It makes the field pop, right? So I appreciate the design
definitely
from that perspective. I give it a 7-8 from that perspective.
I'll give it a 6. I think I think it works really well in the show visual design field while failing very spectacular in the individual appeal field.
Yeah, well, that's
mixed bag. So I'm gonna put it as a 6.
Recognizability, I think if you watched Colts last year and you see them this year, you go, that's probably Colts, because they had that split uniform last year.
It's weird that they're making the split uniform their brand, and it's kind of working.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's an interesting thing. Yeah,
I would give recognizability a 7.
I was gonna say 6
short term.
Another 6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and refrain from doing any decimals. I think they're not. No offense, but I think they're the coward's way out.
So, my bad. So,
just decide on one number, dude.
yeah, my bad. I guess we're not using rounding anymore. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like rounding is a coward's way out.
Whoa.
Pick one. All right.
Fine.
Anyway.
I'm gonna report all of mine to 3 significant figures. How do you like that?
I'm using pi from now on.
Yeah.
All right. Badassery. Ugh,
Three. Yeah, three.
Yeah, 3. It's not. They're not badass at all.
They're not. They're as far from badass. It's. I don't know. We've used this phrase before, but the Yo Gabba Gabba uniforms.
Yeah, dude. Somebody in one of our chat groups said that they look like Yo Gabba Gabba, and that's all I can see now.
It's all. It's all I can think
hear.
about.
That's all I hear.
Yeah.
I had little kids when Yo Gabba Gabba was huge. I watched that show way too much as a parent. So
yeah.
All right. So anyway, all right.
All right, Colts.
It's not bad.
You swung for the fences.
Yeah. It's like it. After seeing it the first time, I was like, "That's horrible." But then watching the show, I was like, "It could have been worse."
I think Knights and Colts we saw those uniforms leaked right around the same time.
Yeah.
And if you had your ear to the drum corps community, you probably saw them leaked at the same time. I think everyone collectively went, "Oof!" And I think Blue Knights has stayed about where they are, but Colts has I think is gaining back a little faith.
I think so
with
too.
their design.
The first time I watched it, I was like, "Okay."
I was like, "Okay, I get it a little bit."
You sold me on it. That's fine.
All right, who next?
Troops.
Trooper.
Let's go Troopers.
Where are they at? There they are.
So,
all right. And this is one of our first uniforms that has multiple parts. There's a uniform change partway
uniform
through.
Change, yeah.
So let's talk about uniforms of let's just talk about what the uniform change is, right? So they start off instead of taking the coats off, they start off with coats off.
Yep.
And then about halfway through the show, they put coats on.
Put the white ones on, yeah.
So they start off, with this sort of like, I don't know, like ochre kind of like.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You know, it's a little bit, it's like an
brownish,
brown kind of feel.
Yeah, it's the final sunset. It's like, it's the sun. It's the graphics they've had are like old weathered leather kind of a look.
Yep.
You know, and then partway through the show, they put these kind of like white jackets on.
Yeah.
So.
Let's
talk functionality.
I like the gauntlet thing that they have because the finger goes over the middle finger rather than the thumb.
It gives it a cool pointed thing that I think really accents the hands really well.
Correct.
And probably is also really helpful for keeping it in place.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
I would like that as a performer, so I'm good with that. Functionality wise, it's functional. Like, it makes sense.
It looks pretty functional.
Yeah, it looks comfortable enough to wear and to use.
I think it communicates the show theme.
Right. Same thing with the guard. I actually really like the guard uniforms.
I kind of dig them. Yeah.
They're very simple. They're very easy. It's very light and colory. You know, very light pastel. Again, with the sun.
I like the golden arm.
Yeah,
I think that's a cool
too.
Sort of a reverse C-3PO. I like it.
Right. So functionality, I go 7, 8.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8.
Yeah. Design and color. I try not to think about last year's uniform and how awesome it was versus
it's hard
this
not
year's.
to compare.
Yeah. I will say this, and I don't think I have a picture. I'm not sure if I do, but if you see pictures online, the Stetson with the cross sabers on them, it's like a heavy pin that kind of goes on there. And this time it looks like it's either screen printed or it's a very, very, very thin and it's shaped very differently than what it used to be. So I think, as somebody who's got to wear the Stetson once before, by the way, that Stetson is the most comfortable friggin' hat I've ever worn. Dude, it is so comfortable. It's hands down the best piece of headgear I've ever worn.
There's a reason all the Cowboys wore them.
Yeah, they're great. Well, that's a pretty high quality. Like, they buy really nice hats for the members, so those hats are really, really they're great.
Yeah, I can kind of see it looks like it's almost just like a decal.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Instead of a nice solid piece of metal.
Yeah, big pin.
Design
color fit. It's okay. I don't love it. I hate it.
I think the color's a little muddied.
Yes,
I do. There also in the picture we have, you can't see it super clearly, but I like the uniform more from the front than from the side.
Yeah,
the side's got this big single strip of basically the same color, and I think it makes it look kind of plain.
I got you. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that. The color scheme, I get it works for the show.
Right.
I'm not the biggest fan of it.
I kind of go vibe on that when I watched it, and I was like, I wanted more. You know what I mean? It's not bad. but I wanted one.
It feels kind of like
more.
Crown's starting uniforms last year, where it's like, I get what you're going for, but it's too muted.
Yeah,
I can't.
Exactly.
I do think it looks better when they put the cloaks on from a
I
color
do too.
standpoint.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it pops and makes the orange of the sun color of the pants stick out a little more.
And like you said, I think it gives depth to the uniform then too.
Yes, definitely.
More, so that's good. Design. So I give it a 6 on the design.
I was gonna say the same thing. 6.
Yeah. Recognizability. 10.
8. Yeah. I would say
it's the same. So I just look at it and go, if somebody looked at that core walking down the street, would you know that it's the Stetson in the hat? You cannot. Say no that you can't.
I think I want to try and judge it more holistically. I think the Stetson is huge. I think. But in terms of like, if I were to cut them off from like top down, or from neck down, I think it's still recognizable as troopers. I think I can still pin it. I'm glad they have the Stetson. Yeah, it's cool. I'll put it like an 8.
Okay,
you know, because I don't think the top uniform harkens back much to trooper stuff. But I think it's still recognizable. I think it's still pretty solidly.
Yeah.
It's definitely, as you said, everyone can tell the troopers.
Yeah, exactly. Badassery. I put it at 6 or 7. That's a pretty cool uniform. I'd be happy if I wore something like that.
Yeah, I'd be fine.
I'd be pretty good.
I'll put it maybe a 6. The Stetson I think brings up to a 7.
That makes sense. No 6.5.
No, a 7.
Okay.
Would be a 6 without the hat.
I can't wait for this next one. Here in the next list of blue stars.
Okay, yeah. Stars.
So
okay.
They just dropped this. I think it was yesterday. Or the day before.
We were having a bit of a field day in the chat.
So let me just say this. One,
again,
love the show idea. All right, let's talk about
super campy.
Yeah, but I'm okay.
Not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way.
I mean,
I'm okay
in a
with
bad
it.
way. Yeah,
right. I'm okay with it.
They again, I'm going to use this phrase. It's extra apt for these guys. They swung for the fences with this uniform.
Here's functionality. It looks functional. I mean, it's a sweatsuit. Right? It's an 80s
I would be
jogger.
worried. I think the top looks pretty baggy.
Yes, so
I would worry that would hurt with like top definition.
I was saving that comment for the design.
Yeah, but I think it also is going to make it functionally harder to make cleaner visuals.
Absolutely, yeah.
And choreography.
Yeah, so I put functionality probably around a 5.
Yeah, I would say a 6. Because the bottoms and the sleeves do look comfortable. They've got the sort of tight sleeves around the wrist.
So it's keeping everything.
I would guess as a performer, it's mostly pretty comfortable to wear.
And I wonder if they come off too. I wonder if the jacket comes off.
Could totally be a possibility.
And I will say this right now. I said this in our chat earlier. Like, they better be tearaway pants. Right, I want to see a part of the show where they're like, "All right, everybody, go on the basketball court."
That will immediately bump everything up 2 points.
Yeah,
immediately. And I want Richard Simmons short shorts underneath.
Just
and everyone shaves their legs.
Yeah, right.
Everyone.
Good night.
Everyone's gonna get a perm this season.
Yeah. But look, for designing fit and look, those jackets look terrible. Like, here's the thing, right? You're putting out professional photos to showcase your stuff. None of their collars fit, which makes me believe
the collars are the worst.
Yes, which makes me believe if you found the best people to do it, would have the best fitting uniforms, that's the best you could come up with to showcase your core.
Yeah, everything else, the fit looks fine. The collars,
well,
they're so loose.
Yes and no. Like, even the one girl with the soccer ball, the pants look way too tight on her. They don't.
Yeah,
they
look a little
right.
too tight.
It looks like they went
the upper legs.
It looks like they went to Walmart and said, "Give me 16 smalls, 18
you
mediums."
Compare that to the girl on the right. Like hers, those pants look like they're actually much more comfortable and fitting.
Exactly. It just looks like they're the wrong size.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The design is rough for me. I really hope that they take them off at some point. At least the jacket, because the jacket is rough.
Yeah, the jackets.
So.
I like the color scheme.
I do.
I think it's got a solid enough blue that, and like the blue and yellow, for some reason it feels like it kind of reads as blue stars to me. They're not too much into recognizability, but like, I dig the color scheme.
Right.
I think the purple yellow blue combo is an interesting one. I think it fits with the show theme.
Yeah, I do too.
Color scheme is fine. It's just it's really the fit.
Yeah,
it's the fit that's taking design down. So I would
4,
5. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 4 or 5. Recognizability. I'm gonna say something mean. I might look at them and go, that uniform looks horrible. I bet you it's Blue Stars. Because last year their uniform was so bad.
And so the year before that, their uniforms, since Cynthia, it was not.
Yeah. That's they are slowly becoming historically a very great core with a very bad uniform.
Blue Stars might have the worst batting average of post-COVID
Oh,
uniforms.
100%. 100%.
Because everyone else has had
Nobody
bad
else-
uniforms. At least they've had ups and downs.
Even with Knights being as atrocious as they are, last year they were so cool.
yeah,
So,
and
there's
the
average
2 years
there.
before
Yeah.
that, pretty
Yeah,
good.
They were fine. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're rough. Badass.
But recognizability,
I don't know, 4.
5,
Yeah,
probably 4.
somewhere in
Yeah, 4.
Yeah.
Color scheme looks pretty recognizable.
I like the fact that they use blue. That's nice. You know.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
there you go.
I think
it's one of the 12 cores that use blue.
Yeah.
You know. Badassery. No,
2.
2. Yeah, 2,
Yeah.
3. I would not feel badass in that uniform. Although,
Now
like,
this was 80s trim core.
dude, if I was in elementary school, I would
9
feel
out of
like
10.
a freaking hero in this thing.
I can't believe
listen,
can't believe this got.
I straight up had
Can
one
you
of
even
these.
see
in
what
the-
they're-
in
Oh, yeah?
these. Oh, dude, I had probably 5 of these things. They were all the rage in elementary school.
Can you even see what their footwear is? It looks like they blacked it out with magic marker.
I think it's just. Are they boots? Are they like a sneaker?
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm like, are they wearing J's? Like,
Yeah, yeah, right. They're
some
wearing
kind of
Jordans?
some kind of
What's
high
going on
tops.
there? I don't know. I bet you
I
it
don't know.
is. I bet you it's some kind of high top or something. It's not a marching shoe.
Yeah.
Which I know we shouldn't go back here, but did you notice that in the Blue Knights they painted all their dinkles or whatever they're using orange, the exact same orange? They're atrocious.
Bold move.
Yeah, they're horrendous.
Yeah,
And, it's bad. Anyway, so Anyway,
yeah,
moving on.
badassery.
All
I think would be
right.
and on 2.
Now I
One or
think
2.
honestly, I think as we move forward through the rest of these are going to be pretty highly rated.
I don't think we've got any more stinkers. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to
Sorry,
S-
much love Blue Stars, but a
yeah,
little bit of a stinker.
SCV
Oh, no, mandarins.
Mandarins. Oh,
Yeah,
did we get Mandarins? Oh yeah.
not yet.
No. Yeah.
All right, so mandarins.
Love 'em.
Maybe the first of our large suite of white uniforms.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of white this year.
I think like
was
half of the rest of the cores are in white.
Was it 22 that we did that?
22, everyone was in white.
Yeah. It was
And
wild.
I do think most of the cores that are in all white this year look better than 22.
Yeah. I agree.
So mandarins, cool. I dig it.
Yeah,
I think it's
love
cool.
it. So here's same thing. Like, and I said this about the other uniforms that I've ranked high for functionality. The shoulder, right? The open jacket. I love a 2-layer uniform. I didn't think I would until I wore one. When we wore them in 23, I was like, this is all I want to wear.
Yep.
The 2-layer uniform works so well because there's a very skin tight or something that's very staying still
and lightweight.
and
Yeah.
lightweight that's underneath everything, and then you just put an accent piece. It gives it that 3 dimensions that you were talking
Mm-hmm.
about, right? And it just looks cool. Same thing. The sleeve comes all the way out and has like a thumb hold so that your sleeve doesn't fall down.
Yep.
It looks good the entire time. More of the open mesh like we were talking about because that's a big theme this year too.
Mesh is huge, and like a nice like sort of looks like a tight fitting sort of tank top.
Yeah, underneath. Yeah, it looks great. It's a cool looking uniform.
It is.
It
Yeah,
really is.
the jacket. I mean, it's kind of designed like a leather biker jacket almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sweet.
It's really cool.
I think
dig it.
functionality. That's probably a 9.
Yeah, I put this easy 9. The pants, the pants are pretty wild. They look a little bit more. They look a little more baggy.
I
Yeah, I
can't
give
get
it.
it-
I give it a
yeah.
9. I give it a 9.
I give it a 9. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like it'll be pretty darn comfortable to wear.
Design comfort. I go with 10. I think the design's a slam dunk. The last few
They look
years,
cool.
The last few years, they've had really great designs. I loved last year's uniforms.
Last year's were sweet.
They didn't look super functional last year. They looked heavy, but they looked awesome.
Yeah, but it served the design of the show
Exactly, 100%. Yeah. So
well. I'll give them another 9.
okay,
They're not my most favorite, but they're real
right.
solid.
recognizability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think talking about the design, I dig.
Okay.
I feel like I haven't seen this color scheme before.
The
This
white on
white
blue.
with like this
Oh, this
this
very
specific
brilliant
kind
blue.
of cerulean, almost like
Yeah.
that shade of very slightly almost like green tinted, but like only very
Yeah.
slightly blue.
Yeah, it's like an aquamarine.
Yeah,
like
aquamarines are good.
Like a metallic aquamarine.
I don't know what I've seen that color in general.
Right.
And I think using that to accent white was a novel color choice
Right.
that
Well,
I
the
appreciate.
whole show is like it's a pipe show, right? So I'm assuming that it has something to do with water, which makes sense to go with the blue, right?
Yeah.
And then the white, you're right, is just a great accent piece.
Yeah,
with it.
they're really just showing Blue Knights what they should have been doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of-
honestly,
Hey, wait.
this jacket kind of reminds me of Knights from last year without the clothes. Because
Yeah,
they had that top.
if you
shoulder-
showed me this, I probably would have guessed that it's
it was
Blue
nice.
Knights.
Yes, I would have too.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And hey, I don't know if we've said this formally yet. What's with all the pipes this year?
yeah. Listen, that's a whole nother show.
We
There's a lot of pipes
we haven't
this year.
gone to SCV yet.
Yeah, I know.
What is with all the pipes?
with pipe arm, man? Anyway.
Everyone's wearing white and everyone's doing pipe
pipes.
stuff.
Listen,
What happened?
I swear to God that they get together on, what do they call it, the Janual? Right?
Yeah.
And all the designers are like, hey, guys, I know what you guys already have planned, but you guys want to all do pipes this year? Like, just a random
We gotta
thing.
mess with them if we all did pipes.
Water, and pipes and stuff like that, too. Anyway, so
Weird. Anyway, recognizability,
I don't put it super high.
put it pretty low.
4.
Yeah,
maybe
once
3.
again, this is not necessarily a reflection of the overall quality.
No,
I think
no,
we both
not at
like
all.
this uniform a lot, but I would not be able to tell you this is Mandarins.
No, I would have no idea who
They're
this
taking
was.
it. I think they're very purposely taking it a complete different direction than the previous few years.
There's nothing wrong with not being recognizable in your uniform choice if it makes sense with your show.
Yeah, if you
that's
justify
fine.
it by being good in other ways.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
so
That being said, probably 3.
3 or
I have
4.
no idea this is Mandarins.
I could take a guess, but honestly, the uniform is really cool. I might have guessed something like Coats.
Yeah.
Honestly, like if I first
For
looked,
sure.
I'm like, it's blue. It's a very cool.
The white
feature.
accents, I might have been like, I don't know, fan of maybe.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could have been any one of the top 6.
Yeah.
So-
Badassery though,
10.
high. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna be a 10.
Once
I
again,
love it.
I think similar to design, I think it's really solid, but it's not like my most favorite, so I'll give it a 9.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Overall, really solid though. Great
Yeah.
work, Mandarins. We haven't. That's not a show that I've seen yet,
I haven't seen it yet.
but I'm excited to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
I feel confident enough in Mandarin's trajectory
Yeah.
over the last couple of years that I feel like it'll be a cool new direction for them to take.
I'm very interested. It's kind of like when I heard them and Knights, they're doing the pipes and water and drip or whatever it is. I expected what I heard from Blue Knights to be more what I was going to hear from Mandarins, because I really enjoyed the opening part of their show, Blue Knights.
Yeah.
Blue Knights show. I really enjoyed the opening part. And I was like, oh,
Super
this
atmospheric,
is,
really cool.
This is really atmospheric is the word I would use. Very theateristic.
Very theateristic.
Very theateristic.
The
yeah,
DNA like double helix that they were doing at the beginning with all the
really,
soundscape.
Really, really cool. Like
Again, yeah.
if so I expected something cool like that to come out of Mandarin. So I'm very excited to see what they do.
Yeah, I'm curious
I
to see
hope
what
it
they'll
mixes
do.
with their uniform. So
All right, so now I think we can move to SCV.
yeah, that sounds right.
All right, SCV. All right.
Wild.
This is another one we're going to have to talk about guard uniforms as well. We've been sort of on and off about talking about guard uniforms, but they're so drastically different. The
guard
hornline and guard uniforms,
which
that
I
I feel
like.
like we have to talk. Yeah.
I like a lot. So
All right. So let's talk about hornline first. Another white uniform.
yep.
I dig it though.
So
it's-
functionality same thing. Shoulders, no sleeves, got that long. So that's
Yep.
like where.
The classic, what is quickly becoming the standardized sort of modern uniform look.
Here's what I will tell you though. Looking at the uniform, just at the pictures, they do not look like they move well. Right. They look like the top
halves look a little
boxy.
stiff.
They look stiff and boxy. So I'm going to put their functionality at least at a 7 or 8. Because when I wore a uniform like that, a la 22,
Yeah.
it was very difficult to do anything in.
It looks
felt very
much
awkward.
less boxy, but than our
Yes.
22 uniforms. But
Yeah.
I would put it. I probably an 8.
Yeah. Because the pants look fine.
Looks nice and functional
Little
with
skirt.
that little bit of.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the eye thing?
Super cool. I dig that.
I really dig it.
That was waiting for the design.
It seems, and I want to bring it up now because it seems like it creates a cool effect, and I don't think it would impair your vision much.
No, it's too close to the face that I think once you put it down,
It just slight blur everywhere.
Yeah.
It wouldn't actually
yeah,
matter.
your eyes would adjust to it almost immediately.
Yeah, a
It's
cool
probably
way
cool.
to add a little extra to the uniform while not taking away from.
Feels very a la 18 for them.
And also the small uniform change they do.
Sorry, had to sneeze.
You're good.
I bet.
The small uniform change that they do partway through the show,
Yeah.
I think works for the show well. So I think that earns them some extra functionality points. I put them at an 8.
Yeah, and well, so same thing. Like if you look at the white side skirt, it actually goes in the middle of them, halfway through the show.
Yes.
and they use it like a Japanese
Apron
like,
almost,
apron
like
kind
a
of thing. Yeah,
like a sumo wrestler.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's another that's a points for functionality and design. It's a cool. I've never seen someone move a side sash before.
Yes, correct.
That I know of.
Yeah, and use it functionally to as a part of the show.
Yeah, to change the look a little
feel.
bit.
So
Let's real quickly.
go into the guard.
Let's talk about guard.
Yeah. Holy hell.
Another. I think this is the only uniform that can claim to have made a big swing more than Colts maybe.
Yeah.
It
is
loud.
green. Yeah, it's a lot. So here's what I will say, right? Unlike with the Colts, I like the core proper, very stark white and black. If there was any color in the core proper uniforms, I would not like the guard uniforms.
It would clash way too much.
I like the guard uniform. I'm happy that they decided not to try to put like an accent piece in like a little bit of green in there to kind of like connect the two.
Yeah.
I stark and then color.
Well,
like,
but they do remember we've watched the St. Clair show. They get the gauntlets.
Yeah.
But I think it works.
But the gauntlets are like a pink, right?
They're pink,
like,
so it complements the small accent of pink that's on the guard uniforms.
Yeah.
I think it's the smart move. I think if it was green, it would be too much.
I totally forgot that they went to the pink thing until
you
said
right.
it. Yeah,
and it's really cool.
It's very cool, and
I really like the full face covering with the guard.
Yeah.
I think that's really sick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It gives it. I think it gives it exactly the look that they're going for with an avant-garde show.
Yes,
it's weird. It's kind of creepy.
Right.
It's exactly. I think it's like it's just on the verge of being too much and being kind of ugly. But I think the guard actually works in the full context.
I think every year SCV probably has the best out there uniforms. The ones you're like, what's going on? But then I think they're a Stansberry. That's who
I think so. Yeah, definitely. Like it's very involved. It's very loud.
You can definitely tell that they were like,
you're like, okay,
no props. We're spending all of our budget on uniforms, and it's working. You know, they're so good.
Yeah, it's really cool. I dig it.
They're super fun.
So we got our functionality.
Design. I go
7.
I go 8.
Yeah,
I think so because I think they use a lot of the in the show. I think
I'm going to go with an 8.
The pink.
I've been gassing them up too much to not give them an 8 out of 10. I think it's pretty solid.
Recognizability.
I'm going to say 7.
I was going to say 7 or 8, and the reason why is because as soon as I saw the face guard, the first thing I thought was 18.
Yep.
I thought 18, and then as soon as I saw the green and like the way the uniform was cut, I thought 19.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of the vibe. It fits with the vibe that Vanguard has been establishing since roughly 17 or 18.
Yeah, I was going to say, exactly. Yeah, so I would, if I had to make an educated guess, I probably would have guessed Vanguard or
exactly.
Somewhere
yeah, I think so too.
Right.
Badassery.
7, 8.
I'll put it at an 8.
Okay.
I'm gonna say a solid 8.
It's cool. I think
it's cool. Yeah, I think the face guard sells it.
Yeah, I think that gives me an extra point. That's what puts me at 7, 8.
Yeah,
you know. So I think it's cool. Who's next?
Hey man, you got to pick one number or the other. You can give a decimal, but you're making the graphics later, and you're gonna be kicking yourself when you keep saying one number and another.
You know what? I'm gonna put it at 7 because that's where my heart lies. Yeah, I don't think
go for
it's
it.
quite.
Yeah, speak your truth. Yeah. This is our YouTube channel. We can say whatever we want.
We say anything we want to do. Who cares? Come at me, fight me.
Yeah.
All right. Coming back to all right. What are we going to next?
I think that was all through Vanguard. Now we're into like the top 5. Phantom.
Oh yeah, Phantom. Okay.
Let's talk Phantom. Another three white uniforms in a row, and yet I think Phantom historically has earned the right to wear an all-white uniform the most.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's functionality looks amazing. It looks so comfortable.
Looks wonderfully comfortable.
They look like they're linen pants. They look
super lightweight. I mean, fits the show theme, but right?
Yeah,
super lightweight. I like the. I'm just noticing they've got like a little like pin strap.
It's like a
going under there to keep it up. I bet
gives some bulk to the shoulder.
I think this is one of my top uniforms of this year.
Okay.
I really like it. I would put functionality. It looks like a 10.
Yeah, I don't see why it's not. The pants look good. They look cut well. The guard uniform looks great. Everything looks cool. I don't know why the conductor has a blue across his chest.
I'm curious about that too. I guess it's just to fit the
rest
guard
of the show
uniforms.
Theme. Yeah, maybe to connect it to. But the white.
Well, no, it's a laundry show, so that's like that's the color of like when you're doing the fresh linen wash. It's a blue bottle, so obviously
that makes sense. It's a fabric softener, Snuggle.
Exactly. Yeah,
exactly. Jeez, it's a fabric show.
It's a laundry show.
I
wish this not having seen it yet.
Yeah, right. Functionality. I give it. I mean, I don't see why I wouldn't give it a 9. Yeah. It looks very functional. Looks totally great.
Yeah.
Design and color fit. Look, this is the third year in a row. Design's spot on. I love it. I love it.
I think it
super
looks
comfortable.
It looks super clean.
Yeah.
It's I mean, literally spotless. I bet they're a pain to keep clean.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine what the support staff goes through.
I like
keep them things clean.
They got like the loose bottom to the legs, but it's got like some depth to it.
Yeah.
The whole top is it's almost all white, so it's all just accented by layers and that little strap that they've got and the collar. I think it's really solid, and you can see like there's different opacities to the different number of layers, and I think that adds a lot to it.
Yeah. Well, like we saw before, and I think you really hit the nail on the head when you say like the depth of the uniform. Like how does the uniform how does it feel three-dimensionally?
Exactly. Right? And that's such a big thing.
It's such an important thing with today's modern television and the way we do things and on all the close-ups and everything. I think it's so important to have a quality uniform that has that depth to it, that really kind of makes you feel like for lack of a better term, a costume. Like, we're in the costume world of DCI.
It's multiple pieces. It's
right. But it's
got
still
something interesting to look at.
But at the same time, it still feels very drum corps.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's great. I mean, I give design. I haven't seen it with the show yet, but I mean, 9, 10. Yeah.
This might be my first all 10s. I really
just love it. Yeah. Dude, man, like you said,
I think it's just solid.
Speak your heart.
Speak your truth. I'm gonna give him a 10. I'm loving it, Phantom.
Recognizability. I would have guessed this was Phantom. Second I saw it
instantly.
Yeah, because the last 3 years it's a consistent.
It looks exactly like their brand that they've established the last 3 years.
Absolutely.
I would put it at 10 again.
Yeah.
And also, we're talking about recognizability always brings in questions of tradition. I love the years where Phantom has always been a black and white core.
Yeah.
The years where they're just like all white.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
It so feels like it's harkening back to those years.
Yeah.
All right. They've done this cool. The black and white sequin, simple but modern uniforms before, and now they're like, we're going back to all white for this show.
And there's a lot of white in that show. There's so much white. So that's why, I'm very. When I went back to design and color fit, if I went a 9 only because I'm not sure
how readable
it's going to be with all the other white on the field.
It's very fair.
Yeah. So
yeah,
but I haven't seen the show yet, so I don't know. I hear it's awesome. Did you see the numbers, by the way?
No.
The horn line breakdown?
No.
You ready for this? 24. 24.
Oh.
24. 12. Wild.
First of all,
it was 84 horns.
You couldn't have given us 16.
16. I know. Look at a 90 horn line.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
And I was like, I'll have to reserve it for when I see it. But as a person who loves 20-person mellophone lines, I feel like 24 is too much.
I don't think so at all. I want to be. It's just like last year when they took last year and they turned it down.
I know. Yeah. They lowered it so it wasn't getting picked up by the field mics nearly as much.
I don't care why they did it. I hated it. I wanted more. I waned to be my face just completely
I liked it. Yeah. I love mellophones, but I think there's also a limit where it becomes gauche.
I don't know. There's a lot of mellophone sustains this year that are a little out of control, and I'm here for it.
Dude, every mellophone line this year is cracked.
Yeah, they are out of control.
You'll listen to like a 13th place core, and you're like, "What are those mellophones doing? My
what
God,
are they feeding those kids? Jesus,
seriously."
Yeah. Anyway, badassery. 9.
Yeah.
I give it 9.
Oh,
it's not my favorite uniform yet. It's cool, and I think it looks great. I don't know.
I think it's a really good blend of.
It's too thin, and I wouldn't feel badass in it. Does that make sense? Like I'd want something a little bit more rigosity.
I get rigosity. Put up there on the board with theateristic. I think I get what you mean, but I think in today's with today's modern styles, I feel like it's still up there.
So it's like the Mandarins one, right?
I think very similar. The all white is such a clean look. I think I still want to give it a 10.
I love that, but like it's the sharpness of the Mandarins uniform that gives me if there was a single edge on it, that was really aggressive. Other than
they got the collar pretty much,
collar or the strap that goes across the chest, like it's a little bit. But if there was something a little sharper on it, I think I would feel a little bit more like it's badass.
Yeah,
like I need an angle, something that I feel like.
I'm just noticing this. I feel like I like the sash. The sash feels like the old sashes that like Phantom had across the uniforms.
Yeah.
Right, it's a nice little sort of homage.
Yeah. That's probably exactly why they put it there.
Yeah.
So all right, cool. I love it.
Great uniforms. Yeah.
Great uniform. All right. Crown.
Crown. Let's do Crown.
I love Crown's uniforms this year.
I like them. Here's the word that always comes to mind.
Yeah.
Maximalist.
What a great word. That's
right?
a great idea.
Yeah, it's maximalist design. It is
Like
very. There's so much going on.
This feels like anime on crack. It looks like an anime uniform, and it's
They look
cool.
like a Power Rangers bad
yes,
guy.
It's yes, that's exactly what it is.
In a good way.
It's cool. Listen, functionality. I'm not going to give it very high for functionality.
There's a lot of pointy edges in there.
There's a lot going on.
You were just talking about sharp edges. There's too many sharp edges in here a little bit.
I will say this.
I feel like it looks pretty comfortable.
The nose sleeve is great, right?
But then there's a little too much sleeve on the right arm.
Yeah, well, and it's a sleeve. There's that weird pointy thing coming out there. But the shoulders, I think, are too much for me.
Yeah.
I think that's where the functionality, because now I have this big
and again,
shoulder. It's just like football pads.
Yeah.
Right? It's too much there to be able to do anything overhead. And you know how modern drum corps, I got to dance all the damn time.
Yeah.
So how am I going to do any kind of grand chanté or whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing? That's French.
Yeah, and there's a few straps in the front. The gauntlets look very stiff.
Yeah. I'm okay with stiff gauntlets. They don't bother me. Because as long as they don't go too far, right? It's only a little 6-7 inch gauntlet. That's fine.
It's not extending to the elbow.
Right, just goes to the ridge. It's not going to get in my way at all.
I'm just wondering if it's comfortable.
I dig the bicep. The bicep sleeve.
I love the 2 different colored gloves.
Yeah,
big fan.
Super huge. Yeah, super cool.
So I'll give functionality. I'll also say the hat looks like it might be a pain to wear.
I was going to say 5 or 6 for functionality.
I was going to say 6 probably.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
6, maybe a 7, but I'll lean towards a 6 just because I would love to hear from the actual members. But
right, we'll get Ethan on the line. See what he says.
See what he says about it. Design,
dude.
I
go straight 10.
I think it's a 9.
I think it's a 10 for me because it's so.
It looks so ridiculous, and yet I think
it's perfect.
I think it works. Yeah, I think it's
perfect.
It works for what I think they're going for. They're going for this like. Almost this classical, like Baroque kind of feel.
Yeah.
They're playing all classical music.
Yeah, which is super cool.
Right? And I think it, and this past the point of no return, you know, all their media was this very like dark, kind of grainy film look to it.
Yeah.
That gives it this old, dark kind of style. I really like it.
The props look like they're like bats. They're like big, like, you know, like almost like devil, like the beginning of, you know.
Yeah, I think the color scheme is cool. I like they brought back the purple.
Yep.
It's a nice, dark, readable color scheme.
Hashtag purple pants band.
Yeah.
For the back of the day.
Purple pant band.
Purple pant band.
This is one pant leg.
Yeah.
I know you love it. The helmet's not my favorite.
Oh, I love it so much.
I
would
I
love
like
to
the
wear
hat
it.
from the side, from the front. There's too much. It looks like a Rorschach test.
Listen. All I'm saying is, like, I'll wait for badassery for that one, but like, it's super cool.
I just can't. There's like stuff going down here. There's different shapes on the top. There's these 2 big horns, and then there's more stuff in the back.
Listen, you wore a hat with a plume before. It doesn't get in the way. Like, once it's on your head, you don't really recognize it.
I'm not.
You know,
I'm not knocking it that much for functionality now.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit. I think it's a bit too big and kind of looks like.
I love it. I wish it was bigger.
It makes them look like Galactus.
I wanted it to have like a Roman helmet down the middle of it too, to really look like it's a full helmet that you're putting on.
Screw, just get him a full like mask, like MF Doom.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think it's cool. I love the uniform design.
I'll give it a 9. I think that the hat, especially, since I'm not the biggest fan, is honed it back a little bit.
I get it. All right. Recognizability?
It's an 8.
Yeah, I would go 7, 8, somewhere in there.
Ironically enough, I think the hat is the most recognizably crown part about it. It looks like a crown hat.
Yeah, exactly what
it looks like a crown hat on steroids, but it does look like a crown hat.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, that's good. Badassery, it's a 10. 100% a 10 for me. I
think it's too bold to not be a 10.
I would, if I was wearing that uniform, I would feel like king shit, and I would love it. Yeah, I would be like, come get me. It's so cool.
It's so out there.
Yeah.
I do dig it.
Yeah.
I like I like the almost pinstripe pattern on the purple and like the swirly
the big metal thing on the chest with the straps that come across. Like, it's really
talk
cool.
about a uniform with depth. There's a lot going on here.
Crown has been doing really well with that the last few years. Their uniforms seem very bulky, but like with a lot of depth to them. You know,
last year was a little bit of an exception. I think last year they were lightweight. Last year I think the depth of the uniform was simple but decent.
Yeah, it was okay. Well,
the color scheme was just
the crown, the
King Arthur one.
The King Arthur one that had a lot of depth to it too.
That one was a pretty good one.
I think their uniforms have gotten like very costumey, and I'm totally cool for it.
Very extravagant.
Yes, ooh, that's a great word. Good job. That's why
I'm pulling out the vocab.
That's
today.
why you have a degree and I don't.
Yeah, I've got 2. Put some respect on it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take away from you, my friend. Good Lord.
All right, so now we're the top 3.
Okay.
You want us to do in top 3 order?
Yeah, Blue Devils first.
Yeah, Devils. Let's look.
Look, here's the thing.
I think Blue Devils has exactly the same quality of uniform as they've had the past couple. Maybe not exactly.
The past 30 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Functionally, I think it's great.
It
looks.
I sent UBD.
Yeah. It looks like.
Functionally, looks like one of the most comfortable uniforms out in the field right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks super comfortable.
They got the holes for the pits to breathe.
Yeah, right.
Bonus points for that.
It's always a weird look. They do that a lot with a lot of their things. I don't know about how I feel about the turtleneck. And I think that would bother me a little bit.
We don't have a picture here, but we should put one up. They've got a top piece, a white top piece they put on.
Oh, okay.
It has a weird neck to
thing?
it.
Okay.
That's the only
is it white. Yeah, is that what it is? Is like that neck piece is like white? I don't
yeah.
know. I don't
it looks like
an
advanced bib.
Okay.
I think the base uniform looks like a 10 in terms of functionality. With the jacket on, I might take it down to a 9. Okay. It looks when stuff is like touching my neck, sometimes it bugs me.
Yeah, especially
it feels like it would bother me if I had it on.
I do the same thing. The turtleneck just in this one makes me be 8 or 9. You know,
I'll put it at 9. Yeah,
for functionality, design, color fit. It's the same uniform every year.
I mean, design wise, I'm gonna put it as a 10.
It's fine. It's designed like.
I like it a lot. I think it's really clean.
I think it goes. I will tell you this: is after watching the show, looking at how they're using it and the design of the show, I think it works great. I think it works great.
What you can't see in this uniform is I'm pretty sure all of the sleeves are slightly different tones of blue for each of the uniforms.
I thought that too.
I think that really works.
Yeah,
I think it makes it look like a mixed crowd, which is what they're going for.
I'm glad that you said that because I thought I was going crazy, and I was like, "Are they all different slightly?"
Is something wrong with my TV settings?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's cool. Yeah, I like that because that's it's the gathering of people or whatever it is. Yep. The guard uniform looks great, like it does.
Oh yeah, I'll talk about the guard uniform.
The blue shoes are pretty wild.
Oh yeah, pretty wild. But again, I mean, super comfortable. I like if you're going for a loose collar, like this sort of like almost looks like a scarf.
Right. If that's all fabric, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, it's loose and it's as much as it's weird to say, it's wrinkled and it's bunched up, but it makes it look purposeful.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and I think it's really solid.
Yeah.
The two different length sleeves.
That's a BD thing, man. They do that like almost every year.
Yeah.
Not just
I feel like I'm looking at the right one and like it's like this far up on his arm.
Yeah.
I feel like that would bug the hell out of me during a show. I'd be like,
I don't know. Yeah, you'd be trying to like adjust it all the time, constantly.
But it does match like his elbow. Yeah.
I don't know. It's good.
I do think it overall.
Yeah. Functional. It's an
solid.
8. It's an 8 for me. Like it does exactly what it's supposed to do.
Wait, functionality or design? Which one?
I'm sorry, both. They're both 8s.
Both 8s for
they're both 8s for me.
I'll put it at a 9 for functionality, and I think it's a 10 for design. It's clean and solid.
My
recognizability
10. I know it's BD.
You see, I couldn't. It's BD.
BD has and I've said this before many times. As much as I trash on BD, they have the most consistent uniform year to year to year for the last
undoubtedly
for the last
ever
years.
Since 17 when everyone started switching to new uniforms. They have easily been the most consistent.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, they look like BD every single year.
Yep.
So badassery.
I'll give it a 9,
7, 8, same thing.
I think I'll
give it an 8.
It's hard to tell. One of BD's best performance qualities is they look like badasses all the time.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell what of this is just the people that they model and basically their entire core being able to look badass at any given point and the actual uniform. Yeah. So I'll play it safe. I'm a BD defender.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 9.
Yeah.
I'm just noticing the one pant leg in their uniform has a touch of texture and color to it that I really dig.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. It's
again super clean. Clean look. I love the thumb holes.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of those.
Huge fan of anything that keeps a long sleeve down.
I think the fit. Again, this is probably also contributed to the person that they picked.
Yeah.
The fit on the sleeve looks really good.
Yeah.
Like we've got similar sleeves with like thumb holes this year. They're a little loose.
Oh really? Mine's really tight. It might just be
Mr. Big Owners. It's probably
it's a length thing because I'm so long.
Yes,
so
probably
it fits nice.
So
they
wind up, but I think that's anyways. I think it's a common problem.
Yeah.
With with
BD
fitted sleeves,
they
is
look
like
they use a very thin neoprene every year That's like that's easy. That
it
fits
looks
literally
it looks like
everybody.
it contours like the muscles of the arm pretty well, while still being somewhat loose.
Yeah.
Right. It's not skin tight.
Yes.
But I think it is a uniform arm that is going to really help like their definition of their arm moves pop. Really well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Looks really like a really comfortable fit.
Yep. That's one thing I'll never argue about BD is that their uniforms look consistent and pretty good every single year. Yep. They always look good.
All right. Now, some of the last ones. Boston.
Two of my favorites. You want to do Boston next? Yeah, they were second last year. Okay.
Where's Boston? There it is.
There they are. Nope, that's Bluecoats. Darn it.
Boom.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I give this uniform 5 big booms.
Five big booms.
Again, another white uniform.
Yeah.
And I just talked about how Mandarins had a novel color palette with the white and the aquamarine blue, and then Boston comes in with a very similar but still distinct color palette.
Yeah, it's more of a lighter blue.
Yeah,
than
definitely lighter.
Theirs, but it is very 1950s, which is what their entire show is wrapped around.
Again, another solid uniform look.
I will say functionality, same thing. Like there's no. I like the fact that, and I can't remember the show.
Sleeveless.
It's sleeveless. And there's no gauntlet or anything else on the sleeve. Super simple, right? I don't have to worry about all that crap and putting it on. It's not in my way.
Yeah.
You know, I will say the uniform, the top looks.
It looks a little boxy.
It looks a little boxy.
Yep.
There's a little bit.
Just a little bit, especially in this photo.
Because it almost looks like it's made out of plastic.
It doesn't look boxy on the drum major, but I can't tell that's because he's kind of yoked.
Yeah.
I think he's just filling it out. I don't know.
Yeah. I love the guard uniforms.
The drum major uniform does look really solid. Yes, the guard uniforms are cool.
Great. Yeah, they're super great.
Really
Same
cool.
Thing, though,
I like them a lot.
The tops look a little boxy, but they don't look like they hinder the guard's movement at all. I mean, I watched the show. They're freaking looking amazing.
I mean, it's fully we say the uniforms are sleeveless, but it's
a little bit of a. These ones are very sleeveless.
Yeah, the guard uniforms are fully sleeveless. What I kind of like, and why it's probably probably is a little boxy. What I like about the Hornline uniforms, they have a little bit of like the overhang, right? To give you that shoulder, shoulder V.
It gives you the V look from your chest, from your midsection up to your chest.
Yeah. So functionality, I put it at an 8.
I'd put it at 8 as well because, like I said, I don't know. I'd like to hear from somebody to see how they move and how they function.
Looks nice and comfortable.
Yeah.
Slightly boxy.
Design, I give it a 9.
I think so too.
I think it fits right with the show theme. I think
like
it's
you were
great.
saying, very like 80s themed. The color guard is super
50s.
Sorry,
Jesus.
80s was Blue Stars.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, let's not. Don't take my decade from me.
Sorry,
I love the 80s.
Super 50s look. I mean everything about it is evocative of that sort of genre.
My grandmother had countertops is the color of the guard's pants. So it's very that orange was all 50s baby, and 60s. Yeah. But
design, I think 9.
Yep. Yeah, 9 easily.
Yeah.
Recognizability,
I think it's up there.
It's pretty up there. Here's the thing.
I think
I haven't said this yet about any of the cores. If I heard the show title, right, and saw the show theme, and then I looked at the uniform, and that's who that is, right? There's a couple of cores that I thought, if I heard the show title, like if Mandarins is a good example of that. If they're like pipes. And I saw that, I wouldn't have put that uniform necessarily immediately with it.
Yeah, with
this
metal
one
pipes.
goes immediately, like they're branding around the show this year. It makes total sense.
Yeah.
As far as them being them, I don't see anything particularly Boston-y about it.
I think it works on extremely short-term recognizability.
Correct.
In that I think it looks like last year's uniform.
I don't think so at all. I
think the colors. I think they define themselves with super bold, very, very saturated colors, and I think it's
that part I could see. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that part of it is still
Yeah.
recognizable.
I see this to me feels more like a 23 uniform than a 24 uniform. The white whale with because it was like the white and
Dude, I hate their 23 uniforms.
I love that uniform. I liked all the.
Looks like a high school band.
I like that uniform.
Did not like it at all.
No. Anyway, recognizability. I don't know. Like I said,
6,
7. Yeah. Badassery.
8.
Yeah, I was thinking
8.
I was thinking 8
again.
too.
It's like it's not the best uniform ever, but I think it's solid.
Yeah,
right?
It's very solid.
It looks like one that I would feel good and comfortable performing in.
Yeah.
It's got that little bit of a V shape to make you feel a little broader.
Yeah.
Right. Give you some presence.
Yep.
I think it's a right solid high quality uniform.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then lastly, Bluecoats.
Bluecoats. All right.
All right.
Another interesting one.
Here's the thing. Functionality, I'm going to put it lower on the mark because of the giant coat.
The big lab coats.
The big lab coat. That looks like a nightmare to march in.
And also they have goggles.
I love the glasses. They're glasses. They're not goggles. They're like horn
Dude,
rim,
no,
like,
they're.
Are they goggles?
I'm pretty sure they're like.
I think they're just regular glasses.
I think they're like shop glass. Like they're like the protective glasses.
I don't think that's what they are. I think that's,
I'm looking it up.
But
I'm gonna try and find out more.
See, here's the thing. I like the glasses. I don't know what it does for the show or the functionality. It's just a design idea to throw in there. But it's the observer objective, right?
Observer effect, yeah.
Observer effect. So like it is definitely it makes sense if I'm observing something and wearing glasses, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm analyzing things and like I'm trying to be the lab coat, like, ooh, I'm observing things occurring and like I get the design, the functionality though. The glasses wouldn't bother me. The guard uniforms,
if they fit well, they wouldn't bother me. I have the problem. I don't like the idea of. I'm sure they probably made them purposefully.
Yeah.
I didn't see anyone messing with their glasses, so I'm assuming they've got some nice like.
They're probably decent glasses.
They're
look like
on
sunglasses. They look like sunglasses.
Yeah.
Like I march in sunglasses all day, every day. They're fine.
They're definitely.
They're just regular.
I think they're halfway between. I think they're meant to evoke a little bit of like almost like functional.
I'm sure that there's
shop goggles.
They feel like very like 40s, like I'm working on the Manhattan Project kind of like glasses, like smart person glasses, right?
Yeah, another sort of like almost like genre piece.
Yes,
kind of costume.
Exactly. That's what it feels like to me.
They're sort of thick rims to give it the sense of it's like it's
you got to see it at a distance.
I think they kind of look like you can see it from a distance, and I think it looks like smart person glasses, like someone would just wear if they needed glasses, but also kind of giving that like I'm using these for functionality.
Yeah. It frames the face out really nicely too. So the functionality of the uniform, I give it a 7. It doesn't look overly.
I feel like a 7 as well.
Yeah, it doesn't look overly functional, but it doesn't look like also it would impede me from doing what I'm doing, depending on what you're asking me to do.
I think the lab coats are just the right length to look like lab coats while not obstructing the feet.
Right. Yes. Because they're right at the knees. They are.
So you can still see feet.
Right.
Which is good because. Some cores you want to hide the feet.
Yeah.
With Bluecoats in recent years, you want to show the feet.
Yeah, you want to you
want to show. Hey, judges, look how clean we are.
Yeah. Right. This is unlike last year's uniforms. Like they're absolutely accented, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I dislike the guard uniforms.
I think the guard uniforms.
They remind me of Garden of Love, and I couldn't stand that show. So.
I think they would look kind of cool on their own. I think we noticed this while we were watching. I think color-wise. It's too much white on the field.
See, I disagree because I think in context, all the pastel like glass that they're using and all the props mixed with the white. I think it helps.
I think the color guard and the horn line and percussion look too similar. We were watching, and again,
that part I could agree with a little bit.
I'll reserve final judgments for when we get a better video of it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The video we saw was not the best visually. It's a low angle. There's a backlit sun.
Yeah,
everything was cluttered.
It's very
but
white,
it was
sunny.
It was very hard to distinguish stuff in the field. And I think part of that is the fact that the color guard is in a similar color palette from a distance.
So it's hard to tell who's who. Yeah,
exactly.
That makes sense.
It's the same reason. I think it's the same issue we had in 22. Where a friend of mine watched it and he was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at. All the colors just blend together.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's all too similar. Recognizability.
Wait, what would you give for design?
I feel design.
I don't know. I
can't quite figure it out.
I like it, but I'm like,
I'm trying to think about it in the context of the show and what they're doing, right? And go, do I understand the concept of the uniform based off of the show concept? And I think yes.
Yes, that part is very.
Yes,
it is very evocative.
Yeah, it's very well. Theme. It's like you said, it's the observer objective, right? So it's
observer effect.
Goddamn effect. The observer effect. So it very much feels like when I heard the title, and then I saw the uniform. Immediately, I thought lab coat in person. And then I thought them doing science, like almost like a Truman Show kind of thing. Like they're like watching what's going to happen to a person. Like they're all very scientific and things.
And it's
so I kind of get that.
Yeah, it's a quantum show.
Yeah,
physics.
yeah. That's kind of what it feels like. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll give that a 7.
I think a 7 is probably where it's at.
A 7.
2 things. One, waiting for a uniform change. You know they got something under those coats.
I don't know, man. Maybe.
I put it a high likelihood. It's not a guarantee. I wouldn't bet any money on it, but
that could be why they're so bulky, why they're so big. Right now.
it looks like they would be perfect to take off at a certain point.
Yeah, and there's plenty
and stash somewhere.
There's plenty enough props for them to stash at some point in the show. That makes sense.
Although they are clear, so I'm not sure if they have any compartments. But Coach is usually pretty clever with that kind of stuff. Finding places to stash them. I will say though, I can't believe I didn't mention this yet, but I called it. This is a Kinetic Noise spiritual successor.
Listen, I don't know.
We saw the show.
Yeah.
You saw that second movement with the trumpet looping.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. I agree with that. It's it harkens back to that.
It is 100% a Kinetic Noise spiritual successor.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Definitely.
No.
It's Kinetic Noise was a very science coded show all about noise in motion and blue red shift and all these different science contexts, inertial frame of reference, all that good stuff.
Right.
Now they're doing another science show about quantum movement and double slit experiments. They've got literally like the kind of like holographic look that the uniforms had on the sash in 2015. Right, and they've got this whole big like trumpet feature that is like a la
that is super cool.
19 and 15. Looping stuff.
Right. Listen. Yeah. Okay.
It feels.
I know you love.
I was
know
right.
you love Kinetic Noise. Just fine. You could be right, buddy. Listen, that's the way you want to live your life. Go ahead.
In the same way, well, I think they're kind of doing it purposefully because I think last year also felt like, to me, it felt like a marriage of like 14 and 16 in a modern lens.
That makes sense.
I think they're going back to some of their old show concepts and being like, let's not retread the same ground, but let's like
use some of those ideas.
Let's take some cool ideas from here and be like, if we go one step in this direction and then completely take it into the modern lens, what would that look like?
Right. Makes sense. Oh.
Anyway,
good for you, badassery.
Wait, do we do recognizability yet?
Yeah. I mean, I think we both said 8.
Yeah. They look nothing like the traditional Bluecoats, but I feel like if I saw them, I would think that's probably the Bluecoats.
Yeah, well, it's because the coat, I mean, it's not quite
like
as long, but
I mean, literally, the coat. I think
the old coat is not that, but also the drum major's wearing the white helmet.
I'm loving that last year, the drum major was wearing a white version of the 13 to 15 uniform, and now he's wearing a version of like I don't know exactly when it started, but like the 08 to 12 or 08 to 11 uniform.
Oh, okay, yeah,
with like the front set, right?
Yep, no, that's very
exactly
cool.
like
with the helmet too,
right?
Yeah,
if you took Brave New World, or anything from that era, and made it all white.
Gotcha.
Love that.
Yeah,
huge fan of that.
Yeah, so that those things.
The recognizability, I'll put it an 8.
Yeah, badassery. I think I give it an 8 too. It's cool. And I would have given it a 7, but I dig the glasses. The glasses make it an 8 for me. And I don't know why.
Kind of,
they just make me feel like they look like badass nerds.
Yeah, you know what I mean? The glasses, it's weird. Like you wouldn't think putting everyone in glasses would make it more badass, and making them look like scientists would make them more badass.
Yeah, right.
But I think the glasses take it like it is a campy show.
Yeah.
Right.
It's okay.
The theming of the design of the props and the color scheme and the uniforms is pretty campy, but they're owning it. Yeah. And I feel like the glasses take it that one extra step further to be like, no, we're really owning it.
Yeah. No.
We're gonna put all our members in glasses.
Yeah. Right.
You're gonna like it.
Yeah.
I definitely. I think it takes it up to an 8.
They're one step short of Bunsen beakers on the sideline.
Yeah. Bunsen burners.
Bunsen burners and beakers or whatever. It is.
Yeah. Get some Erlenmeyer flasks.
No, Bunsen beaker is the Muppet. That's his name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the meep guy. Anyway, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. All right. So that's
solid. Yeah.
That's all of them. Yeah. I mean, what's your final thoughts? What is your overall favorite uniform? I think you already said it.
I think Phantom. I think Phantom right there. Yeah. That may change over the years, over the course of the year when I see everyone in motion and how it works with the show. But I think Phantom's really.
I am a cross between Mandarins. I really like their uniform.
Yeah.
And Crown.
Crown. Yeah. You love Crown.
I don't listen. Here's the thing: is like, I don't want to watch them move in it. I just want to look at the uniform. I just think the uniform's cool.
It's just neat.
It's just neat. So I don't know. I mean, I watched the Crown show already, the original one that they put out, and it looks good on the field. It looks great, but I don't know. I'm very excited to see Mandarins. I want to see what they do. So good on them. So if you are still watching at this point,
yes,
make sure you drop a comment in there too and tell us what your favorite uniform is. You can even drop in the functional, the design, the recognizability.
Drop in your own ratings.
Yeah, your own badassery. Just put it in there in the comments, and Give us an explanation if you so feel like it. We love hearing from you guys. I'm pretty sure I'm 100 for 100 on replying to people who comment. I replied to every single person for the last year and a half that has made a comment on there. So if you want to talk to us directly, most of those things, it's an on-cycle reply, but I'm pretty sure it's just me. I think you might have done 1 or 2 in there, but yeah.
I add in some in there as myself.
Yeah. You'll know it's me because it's probably spelled wrong. So, because my spelling is atrocious.
It's pretty bad. You get a better spell check,
listen,
dude.
That's how you know it's truly on cycle talking to you.
Yeah, this isn't a computer talking because they wouldn't make they wouldn't make those mistakes.
They wouldn't make those dumb mistakes that I make. So, anything else you want to finish off with?
No, I think we're pretty good. I think we got a nice top-down view of everything.
Yeah, I'm excited to see.
I will say overall, I think this is, with some notable exceptions, overall one of the better years for uniforms in the modern uniform era.
Yeah, I agree.
I think most people have a better hit rate this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, everybody's pretty on point this year with 1 or 2 outliers.
A few outliers, yeah.
A few outliers. Anyway, again, if you haven't already, subscribe, hit that like button, and I guess that'll be it for us. And you can go ahead and take us out of here.
We'll do our little wrap up thing. Keep an eye out for the next episode. We'll start talking about how the actual season's going. We'll just start seeing some shows out there.
Yep.
Until then, we'll see you next time. Off cycle.